Hello, I'm Lewis Taylor, and I want to thank you for this opportunity for me to introduce myself a little bit more beyond my primary application. Um, if you were to only look at my resume, you would see a career built around lab-based research, then a transition into industry, and then an MBA. Now, these experiences are very important parts of who I am, and I want to take this time to explain how these events developed my goal to attend medical school, specifically Norda College. Now, my transition into industry started at Spark Therapeutics. The ocular department was designed and headed for a while by a doctor of osteopathic medicine. And this was my first opportunity to work in a department that was built by a DO. And here we were actually taught to consider the entire biological context surrounding each animal in a procedure, rather than just focusing solely on the experimental result itself. And we always discuss the condition of the animal going in before the surgery, the quality of the surgical procedure itself, the recovery after treatment, and almost every factor that could have actually influenced that data. And I really want to emphasize how this was so similar to one of the osteopathic tenets to look at the patient or the problem, in this case, as a whole. And that experience really encouraged me to intentionally learn more about osteopathic medicine. And I have to really thank my mentors at Spark for motivating me to pursue an MBA. And while getting my MBA, my major was in healthcare management and pharmaceutical development. And a lot of my classmates in that major were nurses, military, medical personnel, MDs, and a couple DOs actually. But one thing that they all did was they really opened my eyes to the role that DOs are playing in parts of rural America and other forms of medically underserved areas in our nation. And I had I had many opportunities actually to cover case studies on the current status of our medical infrastructure in America, specifically in medically underserved areas. And the geographic and socioeconomic disparities of the access to healthcare that is going on in these areas. And now, my previous academic research, though, in the lab has always circled around my interest in how a physical stimuli can promote a physiological response. This is the idea of how an environmental stimulus could then in turn cause a protein cascade or a transcription or translation event. And this is actually why I'm interested in OMN. I'm interested in both the role of the DO in MUAs and medically underserved areas, and also this really interesting ability for physical manipulation of the body to actually then have a physiological response for the patient that can actually have health benefits. And I find it fascinating that these physicians are able to just physically manipulate the human body and to get this. And examples of this I've seen so far for OMT techniques are for issues like blood pressure, high blood pressure, and also high intraocular pressure in conditions like glaucoma. And I'm particularly interested in Norda College because of your emphasis in collaborative learning. So, while before in undergrad, I would say I would have been more familiar with lecture based learning, but at Johns Hopkins, through my MBA, it's made me well experienced with pod style learning. See, all our classes, even though there are 30 to 60 some students, they will all actually break down into these 4 to 6 person teams. And these teams will work on case studies throughout the entire course. And I've come to really appreciate that style of learning and team-based, problem-based solving. And I believe Norda can offer me the opportunity to become a doctor of osteopathic medicine and also provide me the research opportunities for me to develop sound OMM skills. Ultimately, I want to become a doctor of osteopathic medicine who combines both scientific knowledge with compassion. I want to become a physician who understands patients beyond their diagnosis. And I want to contribute to my community through both medicine and service. And my personal philosophy regarding a service mindset is to continuously focus my professional development on ways in which I can improve myself to increase my capabilities to help others. So thank you for taking the time to learn more about me, and I look forward to the opportunity to continue this journey at Norda. Thank you.